Hello. Happy Thursday night. You are here just in time for Thursday Night Live with me, Dr. Rita Louise. And thank you all for tuning in today. Um, well, we're going to have an interesting talk for this beginning piece. And tonight's topic is purgatory. So, the concept of purgatory, I mean, the big picture of purgatory isn't a new concept to me, but how I'm going to apply it is kind of new. And actually, I made it up. And so you can like share it with all your friends because you know the person who made this up. But let's kind of back up a little bit. So, in the Catholic faith, there are different places that you can go when you die. So everybody knows that, like you can go to heaven or you can go to hell. In the Catholic faith, you can also go to purgatory, which I'll come back and describe. Or if you're not baptized, at least this is how I was taught when I was young, you went to limbo. So all those not baptized people, you can't go to heaven, you can't go to hell, you can't go to purgatory either. You just go to limbo. And you always have to say that with like some kind of weird accent. Anyway, so what's purgatory? So purgatory is this place where souls go that aren't quite heavenly enough, but they're not evil enough to go to hell. I think people that are evil enough to go to hell, it's just like whoosh, you just get in that chute and go. When you move into the upper realms, at least according to the Catholic Church, you can like mainline it to heaven. Although I can't really, Mother Teresa maybe mainlined it to heaven. I don't really know. But for the most of us, since we're all sinners, you go to purgatory, and while you're there, you have the opportunity to cleanse yourself and remove the stains of sin from your soul. And then hopefully the angel, I'm over here, the angel will come and take you up where you can spend eternity with God in heaven. That's what they told me. Anyway, but I'm not here to talk about heaven and hell and purgatory and limbo, because we're not. So this is how I like using the concept of purgatory. And because I think, and I'm sharing this because, we've been talking about mindfulness and raised awareness and things like that. And what do you do? What do you do? Okay, so here's an example. So you have a friend and you're supposed to go out that evening. And the appointed, we're supposed to get together time turns up and nothing. You don't hear anything from them. They're not answering their phone, and you're kind of lost. And you're left feeling bad, abandoned or sad or upset or confused. Any of these things that can upset your inner world of happiness and bliss, and so what do you do with that? What do you do with that? And so my suggestion, if you're not sure how you should respond to someone, is to take them and throw their butts into purgatory. So for me, because trust me, this is kind of a new concept to me, and I made up the title. For me, when I put somebody in purgatory, it means that I can take an emotional step back, and they're over there in purgatory, kind of behind bars, little purgatory bars. And it gives me a chance to observe what's going on, to take a look at what's happening, to notice my own feelings, notice whether this is a pattern of behavior that this person has, and make some kind of decision. You know, a conscious decision, a decision made with more awareness. I mean, for many of us, we really live on autopilot, and something happens, and the friend flakes on you and doesn't answer, and we automatically will go into a fight or flight or freeze or fawn response in reaction to that situation. And when you put somebody in purgatory, you're not just responding. You're one, taking an action, they're in purgatory. And two, it gives you the chance to observe, and it gives you the chance to look, and so you can kind of be like big brother, watching their every move or giving them the evil eye, like, okay, you're in purgatory now, but one more slip up and you're out of here. But giving yourself that little energetic break, that little emotional break, gives you a chance to figure out what you want to do with that person. Perhaps they come back with a really good excuse, their phone was dead or whatever. And they might apologize. But sometimes words are just really cheap from people. And so the observation part is, do they do it again? Is this a pattern? Have I experienced it before from this person, and now I'm just becoming aware of it, where before I just accepted it and moved on? And so if they're in purgatory and you notice that the behavior happens again, there are a number of different things you could do. You could talk to them and find out what was going on and say, it really bothered you or hurt your feelings, or, whatever you want to share with them, and hope that they don't do it again, or respect you enough to not do it again. You can make the decision that, well, I'm really not going to go and hang out with this person. I mean, not that I hate them, but, I'm not going to make plans with them anymore. You can say goodbye and kick them out of your life, or you can put up a boundary to say, if you do this again, boop, you're gone, or you can decide to just exit yourself from that relationship dynamic. I think the most important thing about the whole idea of purgatory is it gives you the opportunity to make a conscious choice about what you want to do, and it takes you out of the reactive mind that many of us find ourselves in. And that's one of the things we've been talking about here on the show over the past few weeks, or has been, mindfulness and tools of mindfulness and how to be more present and be more aware. And so you don't need to have purgatory if you're by yourself. But if you're interacting with people and you find that you're walking away from an interaction upset or hurt or feeling disrespected, or, it doesn't really matter. If you walk away and you are feeling bad, you have the right to throw that person in purgatory. So you're not quite throwing them in the trash. You're just throwing them over there. Okay. So I'm going to do my little announcements, and then I will say hi to everyone that's in the chat room. So if you've come in or just come in, please say hi, and I'll say hi back. But anyway, so if you want to get a private consultation from me, Dr. Rita Louise, please visit my webpage, which is soulhealer.com, soulhealer.com, and send me an email and we'll set up a time for a session. You can always my mouse is sticking. You can always like my Facebook page, Dr. Rita Louise on Facebook. Or if you want, you can tune into this live stream at Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And if you're a YouTube person, please like and subscribe and send me a message and thumbs up it and all of that good stuff. but that's on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to change screens because there's already some comments, and we'll just see. And I'm just going to say hi to people and then kind of go. All right, so hi, Christine. And then we have Don Dennis. So I'm thinking I know that Don Dennis. And then Marco. Hey, Marco. And my girl, Veronica. Okay, so thank you all for coming. I know that there are some other people hiding in the background. I hope you all will like say hi. We already have some questions, so I'm just going to dig in. Christine says, hello, beautiful. How are you today? Christine, I'm doing wonderfully. My question is, what is the situation with me and Hakeem? Is this something I should walk away from? Any advice? So, Christine, I'm going to kind of say yes. When I look at the dynamic, oops, let me get rid of that right there. Hang on. When I look at the dynamic between you and Hakeem, what I see when I look at his energy is a snake. So I don't know if you have found him to be deceptive or sneaky or somehow disrespectful to you, or you just get like a weird bad feeling when you're around him. I think that the reason the question is coming up in the first place is that you already feel uncomfortable. And so I would just challenge you to honor your feelings in this situation, because my feeling is that you are right about it. Okay, so Don, I'm going to guess this is a different Don Dennis. Okay, all right, so the question is, how would you deal with the uncomfortable silence in an elevator after everyone realized that the extremely hot businesswoman was the one that just ripped a hairy fart? Okay, I don't even know that I'm going to entertain that, although that was a pretty funny question. But yeah, we're just going to move on. Thanks, Don. So Alexis says, you're awesome. Woohoo! Thank you. But I know you got a question. Okay. All right. See, I knew you had a question. Okay. So Lexi says, my rib cage is killing me. Should I just rest this or go ahead and get seen in the morning? All right, so I'm going to go somewhere else. So I'm going to make the assumption that you had a little run-in with my favorite person on the planet. There's a very energetic aspect to this. I don't know that a medical doctor is going to have anything for you. I don't get the impression that the rib is broken. I feel like it maybe is a little more sprained. Have you been putting ice on it? That would be my number one recommendation at this point in time, is to just ice it. And maybe do that for a day or two and go see the chiropractor and have him adjust it. I mean, because I feel like that's going to give you more benefit. But the number one benefit is working with some kind of anti-inflammatory like turmeric or ginger or something like that. If you have any essential oils, like peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is really great for pain reduction. So that would be another thing, that you can mix it in a carrier oil and put it on that area. I think if he went to the chiropractor tomorrow, there's too much inflammation going on that an adjustment wouldn't really hold, and it would just hurt. And they can't stretch it. So that would be my recommendation for the next couple days: peppermint oil and ice, 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 ice. Okay. All right. So Christine is back and says, he seems sneaky. I've been trying to figure it out for the longest time. And I'm going to say he is sneaky. I mean, when I look at relationship dynamics, I look at how two people interact with each other, and whether one person is bigger and is controlling the energy, or the other person is bigger and controlling the energy, or are they looking at the relationship or not looking at the relationship? But they usually look like people. And when I looked at your relationship thing, he was a snake. So go with the snake energy. So, oh, yay. It's Miss Amy. Hey, Miss Amy. So Amy says, I was put in purgatory. My friend and I went to job training for a month in Florida. When he left early, he found he was missing $7,000. I didn't take it. What actually happened to it? Ooh. This is going to sound really bad, Amy, but I don't think anything happened to it. I think it was just a big old fat lie. And they kept the money themselves and blamed you. That's the feeling that I get. When I look at the other person's energy, I don't get upset and I don't get freaked out. I know that if I lost $7,000, I would be having a freaking heart attack. You have more anxiety energy revolving around this situation than I see in the person who supposedly lost all the money. And when I kind of look at it a little more, it's almost like they have a little smile on their face, which is bad. Anyway, you know what to do. Follow up below. So, hi, Marcel. So, Marco says, if you have pain, shouldn't you ask a doctor? Okay. Here, check this out, Marco. Wait, let me see if I can get this turned off. Nope, that didn't work. Look. Dr. Rita, Louise, Doctor. Smart ass. Okay. Okay, so, all right. So Marco says, if you have pain, shouldn't you ask a doctor? But she did ask a doctor, so it's all good. All right, Lexi says, sounds good. And it's my almost husband, Mark Eddy, and he says, I have a medical question. It's like, yay, Mark has a question. I can't stop my heart. Man, I just got like smart butts in here today. I can't stop my heart being uplifted by Dr. Rita, or is that just the normal response being in Her Majesty's presence? It's just the normal reaction that people have to me. I don't even get it, but they do. Mark, I have to tell you, people like me. It took me a long time to figure that one out, but they apparently do, and you do too. You kill me, Mark. So Marco says, Amy could have stolen in her sleep and forgot where she stashed it, or he is lying. No, I don't really get that Amy took it in her sleep. Oh, you guys are just on a roll. No, the boogeyman got it. And now Marco's saying, oh, Amy was at Macy's shopping. You guys are funny. Funny, funny, funny. So, okay, so I'm at the bottom of the list. So anybody else? Marco, do you have like a real question? Or Mark Eddie, do you have a real question? And I'm even going to come back to you, Don Dennis, who I don't think is the Don Dennis that I thought I was on here. Do you have a real question? Because I'm not going to address your hot woman farting in the elevator question. So what do you guys think of this whole idea of purgatory? I really, really love it. You know, when you talk about a concept such as purgatory, which is kind of like putting people into the penalty box in when they play hockey, you know, that they have to sit over there and they can't really participate, but they can watch. It's also part of us having and maintaining boundaries for ourselves. Okay, so Marco has a question. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bad time back, Marco. So are you like asking me that question because you think I'm a doctor, or maybe you need to go see your regular doctor because you have left back pain, muscle, been chiropractor twice already? Okay. Okay, so when we have muscle pain, which yours is definitely muscle pain, going to the chiropractor really isn't going to do anything. What you really need is to go get a massage. I think icing, there is some inflammation in that area. Um, you know, I can see down the road going to the chiropractor when there's not as much tightness and gripping in the muscles, you know, because you get it adjusted and then the muscles just grip again and it goes back out. I mean, there is some subluxation in that area, but getting, you know, renewed chiropractic appointments isn't going to deal with it. You know, I would suggest massage. Um, Again, you know, icing it um, to get the inflammation down, taking some kind of anti-inflammatories, you know, and if you don't have herbal anti-inflammatories, taking some kind of Advil or Aleve, which, you know, have anti-inflammatory properties. So Amy says, my brother, and I call that putting someone in time out. So, okay, but you didn't. So, Amy, the comment that I made, does that make sense for you? Does that resonate for you? That's what I would like to do. So, Veronica says, I dig the penalty box. Isn't it really cool? And it's easy to remember, you know, and when we use the word boundaries, you know, everybody's like, ew, boundaries. I don't even know how to do that. But purgatory, it makes it be kind of fun. It's kind of, you know, you can sit there and like, even in this image, all right, I have to like go the right way. There's like little flames burning and, you know, they're not burned up, but they could go downstairs and go to hell because they're not like totally saved. I love purgatory and I love the penalty box. Okay. So CSD says, what do you think about the fires on Maui? So I haven't really spent a whole lot of time researching them. The images that I saw reminded me of the fires that they had in Northern California, Oregon, where there are trees standing around these houses, and the houses are dust, and the cars are dust, and they don't make sense. You know, I don't. And when you look at the pictures, especially more for Maui than it was in like Northern California, it didn't look like there were all that many trees. I mean, there were trees, but not a forest. And so I don't know what could have ignited those things so hot to create that kind of damage. And I don't want to get like too far down the rabbit hole. I've heard some very different things about, the reason and the cause. One of the things that I have heard that I will say that bothers me the most is there is whispers that what they're going to do is put one of those 15-minute cities where wherever you live in this like long 2B apartment box, with all like, I don't know how many people. And where your apartment is, it only takes you 15 minutes to walk to any of the amenities that you might possibly want or possibly need. That whole idea, I mean, I get from an eco-friendly point of view, it's a good idea. However, it just looks like a little jail to me. So hopefully this video won't get taken down. I'm not a big fan of that idea, and I pray that that is not what's going to happen on that location. I pray. Okay, so MNRD34 says icing, definitely icing. Freeze ice in a quart size baggie, should be about 3/4 inch thick. Sit with it at your back. Works for me every time. Hell, I mean, other than you can get those like freezer gel packs, my kids would give me a bad time because I always had a couple of bags of frozen peas in the freezer that never got eaten. I mean, I have 2 bags of frozen peas in my freezer right now that have been in there probably 7 or 8 years. And those are my body's messed up frozen peas. But yeah, perfect. Thank you, MNRD34. Oh, and Lexi says, totally forgot I have arnica. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I'm glad you like the penalty box. I think you could use it very much. And it's not penalty, it's purgatory. I think it's funner, purgatory. Okay. Okay, so MNRD34 says some survivors claim to have seen fireballs from the sky. Right. And so Pierre, hey Pierre, made a comment below. I am not going to say that out loud because this is a Facebook platform and YouTube, and I don't really want to get censored or banned from them. But yeah, I think that there was something fishy, kind of laser light thing going on that started the whole thing. So I'm just going to leave it there. So, if there's a conspiracy, so MNRD34, I don't know, I'm not sure that I know you personally or my work, but if there's a good conspiracy tied to something, I'm usually kind of on board, or at least we'll talk about it, just not on this platform. And Pierre, I'm not going to share your comment, but hey. And so Amy says about the person who took the money, I don't take him for a liar, but I've certainly been wrong about people before. Okay, fair enough. Ooh. So Christine says, I put my friend Leroy in purgatory. What's the situation with me and him, or should I just keep him on the block list as well? Okay, so you had Snake Guy, who I definitely wouldn't trust. I would only let Leroy have some fairly limited access as well. I mean, I get the impression that he's kind of an asshole and a bit narcissistic. And I feel like, so this is kind of the measure. If when you're around somebody and they make you feel bad, even just being in their presence, that should be enough for you to put them in purgatory. So I don't know if she's here, but I'm going to talk about her anyway. So a girlfriend of mine was like, hey, let's go out to dinner with this guy who will remain nameless. Well, I'm going to dinner. Do you want to come? And, she had been talking about this guy for a while. And I don't know, I just wasn't getting a good feeling. And we get there, and I couldn't get out of the place fast enough. And I had absolutely nothing to say. And I looked at my girlfriend, and she really didn't have anything to say. And she can talk, and then when we're together, it's like, blah, it's a, little blab fest thing going on. But her energy was also being affected, and this was her friend. And so I raised her awareness to the fact that there wasn't conversation happening. He kind of talked, and then she would maybe make a couple of comments, and maybe I said something, but not really. And I was like, you need to, evaluate the dynamic, because you're not being you. You were not being you last night. And so I suggested that she put him in purgatory. I feel like with Leroy, I don't feel like he is as sneaky as the other guy, but I don't know that I would fully trust him either. Man, you just need to find better friends. Okay, all right, so I'm just leaving the chat where it's at. Y'all can read. Oh, no. No, you all can't see that. Okay, so Pierre said, only laser can heat up that much to 1200 degrees. And then CSD said some kind of laser technology. Because some of you on Facebook and some of you are on YouTube, and you can't see each other's comments. So I guess I need to read them out loud. Okay, so Veronica says, I lived in Oklahoma, and fires can jump over roads if winds are high enough. And it's not jumping over the road that concerns me. It is the level of destruction. You look at those pictures, and there is not a stick of anything left. You look at it, and there's not even like the kitchen sink. There's nothing. There's no bed frame. There's no filing cabinets. There's not anything that is metal, much less wood, left. It's just a little charred square of ash that I can't imagine how a fire would do that by itself. And then leave trees standing around them. It's like, okay. And then he said he did make a stop on his way home and saw an old girlfriend. That's why he wasn't sure. And so he blamed you. Man, he needs purgatory. And so CSD says, I agree with you about the smart city crap. I've seen some images of the smart city. So if you're not familiar with them, I would look them up online. But basically it's, like a giant apartment complex. And if somebody could look up how many people they actually will put into a smart city, and they're like, oh, you have these amenities, and there are gardens and fountains and all of this great stuff. But what they don't tell you is, but do you have more than a room? Are you sleeping in a pod like they do in China? Do you have a living room or a kitchen? They don't talk about your own personal amenities, just all of these shared amenities. which I just find highly suspect. How's that? Okay, so we're back to freezer things. The freezer gel packs don't stay cold long enough, thus the frozen ice in the baggie. Good point. I'm usually only good till that freezer ice pack isn't cold enough. I mean, because I think you're only supposed to ice for like 20 minutes, and then take a break, so you don't create any damage. And I think that's about how long those ice packs last for. And so they don't have issues with you doing repetition, but they usually suggest alternating, between ice and no ice or ice and heat. Um, and so I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that. All right. Let's see. So Pierre says frozen peas are very good for inflammation reduction. Frozen peas, I think frozen corn works good. Because usually if you have those vegetables, they get all clump up in the freezer, but you can kind of bang on the bag. Oops, excuse me, I shouldn't do that. And it'll break them all up. But if you are doing ice on your elbow, the peas or the corn will actually conform to that hurt area. Okay. Hey, Marcel. He says, I only find articles that peppermint oil is good against headaches. Can I also smear this on my groin, spine, and joints? So peppermint oil is works for pain. And so usually they just talk about it in relationship to headaches, but you can use that anywhere. If part of what's going on is inflammatory issues, you can also get like ginger in an essential oil. You can get chamomile in an essential oil. And actually, if you go online, you can find blends, not maybe ready-made blends, but, get your own stuff. But recipes, that would be the right word. Recipes that tell you what kinds of essential oils to mix together for, arthritis type pain relief. And, usually when you use essential oils, you use a drop or you use a couple of drops. And so I would recommend mixing it in with like some kind of a carrier oil, like almond oil or avocado oil. And that kind of dilutes it and makes it so that, you can get the essential oil benefits over a much larger area. So that would be my advice. All right. All right. So Pierre, I don't understand. Understand. Do what is up to do. Okay. So Alexi said, definitely purgatory, just typing and doing arnica cream at the same time. Lexi, I'm also going to make a recommendation if you have any palo pinto or any sage, any of that good stuff. Fumigate. You know what I mean. All right. We're back with Marco, and he says, Rita, and that's Dr. Rita to you, Marco. I'll make an appointment for a massage. I'll contact you to see what your schedule is like. Okay. Email me at, wait a minute, I'm going to do it at soulhealer.com. All right, let's see. All right, hang on a second. What do you pick up about my pelvic floor? It is tight. Is it caused by trauma or messed up knee? Okay, so, so when I think of the pelvic floor, especially in women, I don't really like associated with a knee issue. Um, Veronica, could you clarify that a little bit better? Because my brain is going to like a place I don't want to go. So, all right. So, and Veronica says, I put a former friend in purgatory, but isn't purgatory great? I love purgatory. So, hi, Lisa B, who I don't know, but hi. And thank you about the background. So, today we've been talking about purgatory, and I thought this was an appropriate look to have this conversation. Um, so, Veronica says, Smart cities sound like a bad sci fi movie, and they are a bad sci fi movie, except they're reality. So, Pierre said 15 to 20 minutes, my nurse wife said. See, and that's what I said. Um, all right, so Lisa says, what is it you do? So I'm here other than talking and visiting with people. I do readings about pretty much anything except, okay, except I don't talk to dead people, so don't ask me about any dead relatives. And I don't predict the future. So it needs to be a real question, not what's going to happen to me or what about this, that there's not really any context. Other than that, we can talk about ghosts, we can talk about aliens, we can talk about anything. I'm good pretty much anywhere, unless it's, talking about things that YouTube or Facebook will frown on. All right, so Lexi's back. Oh, here's a question. Oh, what time is it? There's time. I recently started talking to a man. A man? Ooh, this man thing seems to be kind of popular lately. Okay, so what do you feel? So I think you need to come to like the Dr. Rita dating school too. Okay, so this is my 2 cents, and actually you're gonna like what I have to say, Lexi. I feel like you are that he already is in purgatory, and you are talking and observing and looking and verifying internally and not just emotionally jumping into the middle of it and having them be this end all and be all person. And so I kind of don't care about them right at the moment. I'm more concerned and happy about how you're approaching this. And I'm sorry, but my phone is ringing in the other room, which I don't really know why. Um, now, I'm going to stick with your energy because whether you're talking to this guy, you're talking to some other guy, I think the positioning you're taking is good. And I'm not really getting anything from him. I get the impression that it's still pretty early and, you know, I got nothing. All right, so Lisa says, is this an energy reading? So I'm not really sure. So it's a reading. I mean, whether you want to ask about your energy. Okay, so Lisa, I work as a medical intuitive and an intuitive counselor, and I also do energy medicine. And so I just ask a question. Okay, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll either like respond to it or not. How's that? And there's 15 minutes left, so all right. You're funny, Marco. Totally. So Marco says, looking forward to my massage hour with you. And then his next post was purgatory. It's like, hell yeah, purgatory. Marco. God dang. All right. So CSD says, I can understand if you can't answer this. Who do you think is behind the Maui fires? I mean, I've heard some really, and like, I'm just going to say it. I don't really care. I've heard some interesting things. I had heard from one guy who, you know, whatever, was talking about that there were biolabs down there. I've heard that it was just a land grab to get that land and, you know, away from, because that was ancient indigenous land, you know, and some of the original settlements on that island were there. I don't know. You know, these days you can't tell, you know, who the good guys are and who the bad guys are and who's doing what chess maneuver to do what. Um, you know, but it does, okay, but I will say this, you know, you have a big fire in Maui, and it does take the attention off of other news that is potentially damaging and puts your focus on that, you know, and it might just be one giant diversion to keep our attention off of other things that are happening that are just not getting any news time. Okay. Okay, so Veronica says, okay, knee has tight muscle that goes up to pebble. See, that I can work with. All right, hang on. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're showing me that the muscle that, you know, like in your inner thigh is just really, really tight. And it's mostly down in the knee area. Um, you know, when I look at your other leg, I'm not seeing the same kind of tightness happening. You know, my kind of knee-jerk reaction would be, have you had some kind of surgery there? Because that would explain why it's overly tight. Um, you know, and I'm going to say to you, massaging that area, I mean, I feel like it's been that way pretty long, and, you know, this might be kind of creepy to you, you know, but there's something that's called myofascial release that helps to break up adhesions in muscles. And it's just really, really deep tissue work that might be beneficial for you for that situation. Okay. So Veronica says, I think you should do readings just for dating. You know, if I could get enough people that are dating on here. So before I became Dr. Rita Louise, I was just Rita Louise, the psychic chick. And my favorite thing to do was relationship readings because, oh my God, they're juicy. And it's like you're just sitting there gossiping about the different people that they're in the relationship with. They're very fun. And I love doing them. All right. So Lexi is back and says truth. It's like, I know. It's like, Lexi, we're big girls now. Oh my God. And maybe we've learned our lesson. Oh, so Veronica says, like a separate show. I don't know that I would get enough people to do it, you know, but I'm just going to keep this going on. You know, if people have dating questions, oh, please lay them on me like Debbie Adam Gillette. Um, so, you know, because maybe if this keeps going this good, I can do a little spin-off. So, hey, Debbie, can't wait to hear all the news. Okay. Hey, Joe, how's it going? And so Joe's question is, will my youngest daughter get on disability? Um, I mean, the answer that I'm getting is no, at least not at this point in time. You know, so I don't know if she's working with a lawyer or anyone who can push things through. Um, you know, I don't want to, you know, Joe, I just met you and I don't want to speak ill, but I'm kind of feeling like, you know, what she's claiming seems a bit like she could still work. How's that? Like, I'm not feeling like it's all that severe. Um, I don't know. I don't even like saying that out loud. So, so okay. So I'll phrase it this way. So, is her situation really severe that she really needs to get on disability, or is there kind of like, well, you know, I just want to do this because I don't really want to work, and you know, so my finger hurts, I need disability. I mean, that's kind of the energy that I'm getting. So please, if I'm off base on that, please let me know. Okay. All right. So Deb says, need a reading. Okay. So, all right. So I just need to know, like, yay, nay, thumbs up, thumbs down. So, Joe, is that working for you? I mean, you said thanks, but if you could like respond, I would really appreciate that. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do this for you, Deb. Calm down. Where's that ice pack when you need it? Okay. Um, I mean, I feel like there was some energy flying back and forth. I get the impression that he has a great smile. Um, I feel like the conversation was good. It felt like it was very equal. Um, well, this is very interesting. So while it was equal today, and I see the two of you, you know, the same height, I feel like if left unchecked, his energy could get bigger, you know, leaving you down below. Um, you know, so, and I'm going to use your word, controlling, comes up, even for me. Um, you know, or needing to manage things in that way, not in a yeah. Um, what's interesting is when I look at you in this whole situation, Deb, I feel like that's the challenge and that's the lesson. You know, am I going to sit there and bite my tongue and not say anything or do anything when I experience that energy? And so I feel like if you decide to take this challenge, that that would be the learning experience for you. That would be the place where you would be able to grow internally to say, I have value and I have worth. And, you know, you can sit there and be big headed with me, but God damn it, I'm not going to take it anymore. Okay, so that was a little bit over the top, but I feel like there's a lesson in there for you. So, okay. So Joe came back and says, you're welcome, Marco. Joe came back and says she has bad lungs and also diagnosed by two psychiatrists as having bi, bipolar disorder or possibly borderline. Okay. So, and I'm just going to give you my 2 cents, Joe, and I'm just going to be very real. You know, bipolar disorder is manageable with medication. You know, people that have borderline personality disorder or bipolar disorder can work. They can navigate life. And I just feel like there is a bigger energy in her of not wanting to do it and not wanting to deal with it than I feel around her health concerns. You know, and I guess that's why I'm so like, she just wants to get out of it. Um, and this would be the easiest way, you know, kind of a little maybe a victim energy that's coming up. Um, and definitely an entitlement energy that's coming up. And my recommendation, okay, so this is my recommendation. If this is something that she wants to move forward with and things that she's eligible for, she needs to get out of the process. She needs to have some third party handle the whole thing for her, because it would just be better. How's that? All right. So Debbie says, I can see that I'm up for the challenge. You know, and it's not up for challenging him. For what I keep feeling, it is up for you challenging you. And that's the challenge. And I have a feeling that my phone will be like blowing up. All right, Lexi says, Rita, you're amazing, and I'll see you later. Thanks for everything. Already feeling better. Thanks to you. Yay, thank you. All righty. So Marco said, poor land management was behind the fires. Nothing woo-woo or laser weapon. Don't know that I agree, but it might. And then we wonder why this country is just so divided with everything that's going on. Okay, so Marco said that land was always pineapple trees, then left to just praise grass. It was going to happen. I mean, a fire is one thing, but a fire that it creates that level of devastation, you know, I have a hard prairie grass. I kind of have a hard time with it. Anyway, well, the questions have dried up and it is almost time. So I'm going to wrap this thing up for the week. Let's do that. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Okay. So if you would like to schedule a private consultation, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and, you know, check it out. There's an article, there's my books, and drop me an email and we can get something set up. If you're a Facebook person, please like my page. So not send me a friend request, but like my page, Dr. Rita Louise on Facebook. Or if you're a YouTube person, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And again, these sessions are open to the general public. You don't have to be my friend. You don't have to know me. You know, you just show up and bring your questions and join the conversation. And everybody, this has been a wonderful discussion tonight. And I really appreciate you all. And I feel like this show is really starting to take momentum, and it's only taking momentum because of you. And that makes it so that my heart goes out to you to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. So until next time, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is my live.